They say the woods are beautiful in autumn, and that's what drew me there. I wanted a break from the relentless buzz of the city, a chance to breathe in the crisp air and lose myself among the towering trees. So one sunny afternoon, I set off alone, hiking boots crunching over the fallen leaves, camera in hand. The forest trail was supposed to be straightforward a loop, they said. Follow the markers, and you'll be back at your car in a couple of hours. But as I wandered deeper, snapping photos of golden foliage and the occasional squirrel, the markers became fewer and further apart. I wasn't worried at first. How else could I get on a well-trodden path? But then the sun dipped behind a cloud, casting the woods in an eerie twilight. My footsteps seemed unnaturally loud in the sudden quiet. The trees, which had felt welcoming in the daylight, now loomed like silent sentinels. I checked my watch and realized it was getting late. I turned to head back, but the trail behind me was gone, swallowed by the forest. Panic clawed at my chest as I spun in circles, trying to find the familiar path. Every direction looked the same, a maze of shadowy trees and tangled undergrowth. I walked for what felt like hours, my sense of direction slipping away with each step. The forest was a labyrinth, and I was its unwilling prisoner. My phone had no signal. Of course, typical. I used it to check the time and saw it was already past dusk. Calm down, I muttered to myself, trying to steady my breathing. Just keep moving. I stumbled upon a small clearing, the last light of the day casting long shadows across the ground. In the center stood a decrepit cabin, its wood rotting and windows shattered. I hesitated. The sight of it sent a shiver down my spine, but I needed shelter. I needed to gather my thoughts. The door creaked ominously as I pushed it open. Inside, the air was stale, and the floor was littered with debris. An old, dusty lantern sat on a rickety table. I searched my pockets for a lighter and found one, breathing a sigh of relief as the lantern flickered to life, casting a dim glow. I sat down, trying to figure out my next move. My stomach growled, reminding me I hadn't eaten. As I rummaged through my backpack for a granola bar, I heard at the faintest whisper, barely audible over the rustling leaves outside, "Help, mister." My blood turned to ice. I spun around, the lantern's feeble light doing little to pierce the gloom. The cabin was empty, save for me. I must have imagined it. I had to be imagining it. But the whisper came again, a mournful plea that sent chills down my spine. I grabbed the lantern and stepped outside, scanning the darkness. "Hello," I called, my voice trembling. "Is someone there?" Only the wind answered, rustling through the branches. I felt eyes on me, though, an invisible presence watching from the shadows. My heart pounded as I edged away from the cabin, the lantern swinging in my grip. The whispering grew louder, more insistent. It seemed to come from all around me, echoing through the trees. I stumbled, nearly dropping the lantern, and that's when I saw a flicker of movement at the edge of my vision. A figure stood just beyond the tree line, barely discernible in the darkness. It was tall and gaunt, its eyes glinting like cold steel in the lantern's glow. I froze, unable to tear my gaze away. The figure didn't move, just stood there, watching me with those unnervingly bright eyes. I wanted to run, but my legs felt like lead. The whispering became a cacophony, overlapping voices that tugged at my sanity. I turned and fled into the woods, the lantern bobbing wildly, casting grotesque shadows on the trees. I ran blindly, my breath coming in ragged gasps, the lantern's light flickering with each step. The forest seemed to close in around me, branches clawing at my clothes and face. The whispering followed, relentless and mocking. In my panic, I tripped over a root, the lantern slipping from my grasp and shattering against a rock. Darkness swallowed me, thick and oppressive. I scrambled to my feet, desperate to find a way out, but every direction seemed the same, a never-ending sea of black. I stumbled into another clearing, heart racing. The figure was there again, closer this time, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. I backed away, but the whispers were deafening now, a storm of voices screaming for help, for release, for vengeance. I collapsed to my knees, covering my ears, but the whispers burrowed into my mind. The figure loomed over me, and I saw its face pale and twisted, a grotesque mask of agony. Its lips moved, forming words that echoed through the cacophony. Used stuck in single quotes to escape. My vision blurred, darkness creeping at the edges. I felt the cold touch of its hand on my shoulder, and a wave of despair washed over me. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The forest swallowed my cries, leaving only the endless whispering. When I awoke, I was lying on the forest floor, the dawn light filtering through the trees. My body ached, my clothes torn and dirty. I looked around, disoriented, trying to piece together what had happened. I stumbled to my feet, my mind a foggy mess. The whispers were gone, but the memory of them lingered, a dark stain on my thoughts. I began to walk, my steps unsteady, hoping to find a way out of the nightmare. After what felt like an eternity, I emerged from the woods, collapsing at the edge of the road. A passing car screeched to a halt, and a woman rushed over, her face etched with concern. "What happened to you?" she asked, helping me into her car. I couldn't answer. The words were tangled in my throat. I stared back at the forest, the trees swaying gently in the morning breeze. It looked so innocent now, a picture-perfect woodland scene, but I knew better. As the woman drove me to safety, I glanced back one last time. For a brief moment, I saw the figure standing among the trees, its eyes glowing with that same cold light. The whispers echoed in my mind, a haunting reminder of the horror I had escaped. Or had I? Even now, the woods seemed to call to me in my dreams, whispering promises of secrets best left buried. I fear that one day, I'll return to those trees, unable to resist their siren song. And this time, I might not be so lucky to escape.